Hey everyone, welcome back to another myth-busting OCD and anxiety-based video. I have not done a video like this in a long time. And as I was on the walk this morning with my dogs, I was thinking about some of the common things I was seeing and or hearing coming into the Facebook group. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, please join OCD Recovery Facebook page. We are just shy of 18,000 members. We have moderators in there. I post 2 to 3 long articles a week. I stay very active in the community and the content perspective, and it's a lot of fun, because when you go to other forums, unfortunately, there's a lot of people who don't understand, not easy to understand, and there's a lot of reassurance. So I see a lot of questions that people want to know, like, hey, I've heard this. Is this true? Is there applicability in this? Stuff with the coaching calls and the webinar services. And I haven't done a video like this in a while, so I want to break it down for you. Before I go any further, please subscribe, hit that like button, comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. If I'm a little bit jazzed up, I'm making this video before I go hiking, so we're about to head out here in about 30 minutes. And if you need some help, if you're stuck doing some of these myths, or you're working with someone who's telling you this over and over again, we can help you. We work with really the most severe OCD and anxiety cases out there, people all over the world. If you're not from America, we do have translator calls, so you do not have to worry about me talking so fast. We work with people in different countries, like I said. I think in the last couple of months, I've done some French translator calls, Danish translator calls, and we do more than that. We're trying to expand our reach into, China, Russia, India, the bigger areas where people really do need our help from an OCD and anxiety perspective, and they don't know what to do. And we work with people, some of these countries such as Romania, Ukraine, someplace in Germany, Holland, where OCD recovery is really just based around, it's exposures only, and we will help you break that down. So let's jump into myth number one. Myth number one is that medications will bring you to a long, robust level of recovery because of what they call the chemical imbalance theory. Now, we know the chemical imbalance theory is extremely outdated and doesn't really hold any validity. Why do we know this? Well, current literature shows that somewhere over, the ages of 60 with females, 1 in 4 people take an SSRI or an antidepressant. Okay, so 25% of the people over the age of 60 in America, females, take an antidepressant, and almost all of them are still depressed to some way. Now, medications, it's important to say, always talk to your advisor, your provider. I'm not here to recommend no medications. I'm here to tell you what I see in the belief systems that we see when people take medications. And that belief system is this: why am I not better? Why is it not changing my beliefs? Medications can help take the edge off, and they can really help save lives, but medications in of themselves usually do not change beliefs. Let me give you an example. The fear of being stuck for the rest of your life, body dysmorphia, the fear of being overweight and not being attractive or fat or looking stupid, harm OCD, POC, the fear of being a monster or a bad person, going to jail, societal outcast. Existential solipsism OCD, the fear of being in a vacuum, the fear of being in a video game, AI being real, all the other things that come along with it. Medications will not change those deeply held beliefs. They will help take the edge off to make it easier as you work on your recovery. But it's important to highlight that many people will take medications and coast for the remainder of their lives. Look, the ultimate goal is to feel better. So if you take medications and coast forever, that's better than it was 100 years ago. But there is more, and you can get more from your recovery, but you're still going to have to work on your beliefs. It makes this book right here easier to work on, easier to read, easier to do the exercises when you're really struggling and it's hurting you so bad, and you're just like, every word, right? You're like, see, if we're not, oh my gosh. I know how difficult that is, having panic attacks, chronic shame, chronic guilt, anxiety blasting all day long. But it is important that once you get the edge taken off, to really take advantage of that and go in and read the books and do everything like that. We're getting a bunch of faxes right now, so if you hear my fax machine going, that's what it is. So myth number two, the one I have to cover a lot. It's understandable, but it does need to be covered a lot. Exposures are no longer the gold standard, and they really never were. The reason why when we call something the gold standard in life, whether it's this or that, you got to remember, cocaine was in Coca-Cola, arsenic was in medications, headache treatments would put your head into a metal container and bang on it with a hammer. The gold standard is an idea that's substantiated in the present moment and the past. But there's no way, I'm going to have to talk over this thing, but it's no way the only thing that works. There are things in the future right now that we don't know of that will be the quote-unquote gold standard. So for a while, we thought exposures were the gold standard, and because they do help get into the fear and target a little bit. The problem is exposures in of themselves do not target unconditional self-life, other acceptance. We know they don't because we work with thousands, tens of thousands of people over the last, 10, 15 years with Rob and me, 3, 4 years, where they're coming in. They've been doing exposures. They've then been told a thought's are a thought and this and that, and they haven't seen the results they're looking for. The reason why is because that's not enough to get them to where they want to go. This is really important to cover, as many OCD and anxiety sufferers will stay stuck thinking that exposures are the only thing they need. Unconditional self-life, other acceptance is the most important thing. Number 3, we need other people to understand OCD suffering. There's a big problem right now where people are coming in with their values. We see a lot of stuff based on values. This goes way beyond OCD and anxiety suffering. Value-related fears are becoming new mini themes because people are coming in saying, these are my values. You gotta listen to them. These are what they are, and I'm not going to sway. Well, I can tell you that right now. My values specifically, it might not seem as substantial as your value, but a big value in my life was physical health, the way I looked and the way I presented myself with my intelligence. And you could bet your ass OCD came in there to just disrupt that. It just blew it up like a time bomb because I held it so conditionally. So when you hear stuff such as just listen to your values, go back to your values, constantly trying to chase your values is a large compulsive behavior, and avoiding and or other people who have values that are different to you is a subtle and large avoidance behaviors. We don't need other people to respect us. We don't need other people to accept us. Respect and acceptance from other people have great benefits. Benefits in relationships, benefits in social situations, benefits in business situations. But the thing is, we don't need them. You need 3 things in this life if your goal is to stay alive: food, water, and shelter. Now, everything else is a benefit, and arguably not even shelter, because there's a lot of homeless people that don't have good shelter. And then Albert Ellis goes into a philosophical conversation about, philosophers back in the Stoic age who were condemned to death. They just stopped eating and drinking, and they peacefully passed away from those own actions. So that's a totally different story, but you see where I'm going at here. When people say they need acceptance, that's just not true. When people say they can't stand that other people don't respect their values, that's just not true, because many people are not going to respect your values anyway. So this is a really important thing to talk about. So those are the 3 big things I wanted to talk about in this video before I go out there and go hiking. If there was a 4th one I could talk about, these are the big ones that we see right now. As there's another 4th one that we could talk about is a myth, a really big myth that I see. Okay. I have a big one and I talk about this a lot, and it is so important to kind of hammer this home. Rumination is not something you're completely in control with. Yes, there is a large degree of rumination that you are actively sitting down trying to figure out. But there is also another large portion of rumination, as I always say, automatic thoughts, images, sensation, urges, that are perpetuated symptoms of your core fear. Your core fear is the fear of being stuck forever. Your core fear is going to jail. Your core fear is losing your partner. Your core fear is being overweight and not having muscle. This perpetuates sensations, feeling, images, urges that are rumination cycles that are primarily coming at you when you least want them to, in 0 to 100 bullet type fashion. And that is what we call the automatic rumination cycle. Sorry, my 20% battery just came on. Wearing that automatic cycle as you go throughout your day and creating distance between that over months and months and years as you slowly chip away at your worst case scenario is what's necessary to recover from OCD. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think I just set a Guinness Book of World Record for the most amount of words spoken, 8 minutes and 40 seconds, covering 4 different myths. We can help you. Please comment down below. Let me know some of the other myths that you're struggling with, because there's a lot. There's little tiny ones, like something like this. Supplements aren't really a problem. That's not true. Ashwagandha, turmeric, a lot of people use those because I need to calm down. There's myths surrounding caffeine and alcohol. Obviously not talking about alcoholism. There's myths surrounding work, such as the best thing to do is take time off when you need it. Absolutely not. Understandable, but the best thing you could do is probably bring that discomfort to the workplace. And if you're interested in our coaching and webinar services, please email us at info@ocdrecovery.com, and we will get back to you in a timely fashion. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to me. And I just want to say one quick thing. Thank you for everyone who has supported our content, not just me. I remember Rob, Momin, Jade, Elliot, Mariana, Newens, Marley, all the other previous moderators who have come and gone and decide they don't want to have to deal with me anymore. Seriously. everyone in the Facebook group, everyone that's ever watched our content, our community in the WhatsApp groups. We have hundreds of people in our WhatsApp groups. I mean, we have multiple different ones, people all around the world. It's not like a specific harm or POC or sensory motor. We have people all over, different countries, different cultures, different backgrounds. I wouldn't trade it for anything. OCD suffering was the best thing that ever happened to me. I wouldn't trade it for a thing. It was really, really tough. I've been to the really deepest, darkest places where I didn't want to be here anymore. And I realized that the suffering and the lessons I learned were the most important things, and they helped change and shape my life forever. And thank you so much to Rob, because without Rob, it's important to cover this. Rob doesn't like to praise like this. We usually don't give it to him. I usually just tell him he's an idiot, which he is, because he's a lot taller than me, and he makes fun of me because I'm short. Okay, I'm only 5'7". So they love to joke around with that. We have good fun in the WhatsApp groups. We joke around because OCD can be taken really seriously. But we got to remember that without Rob, there's no us, right? And without Albert Ellis, there's no us. We're all constantly stuck like it was for thousands and thousands of years. So thank you, Rob. Thank you, Albert Ellis. Thank you, Moman, everyone else, Phil, everyone else that we work with. And enjoy the rest of your day, guys.